Hey, how you doing? It's your boy Brogi Naric back again with another review. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Visions, which recently dropped on Disney Plus. It is a new 9-episode anime-style anthology series that's set in the world of Star Wars. It's not canon for now, but they get these 7 different animation studios, top animation studios in Japan, and they said, hey, do some Star Wars stuff. And they said, okay, as long as you pay us. And they gave us these 9 different stories, wildly different in terms of animation styles and story. And I'm going to be giving a review of this. And just a quick review, but then I'm going to rank my favorite episodes from worst to best later on in the episode. So if you just want to skip to that, go to that in the timestamps in the description. But before I get into this, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. We're still growing, and we use your help, so thanks for doing that. So Star Wars Visions, I believe, was announced back at the, it was like the Disney corporate shareholders thing they had, where they was just like, okay, here's all the stuff we got planned for the next couple of years. And when they got to the Star Wars section, this was one of those things that was announced amongst a bunch of different shows they wanted to do. And it was a cool concept, here's some Star Wars stuff. It's going to be anime. And yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm down with that. It very much reminds me of years ago where Warner Brothers did this animated movie called, I think it was called Batman Gotham Knight. It was right around the time when Dark Knight was coming out. And it was like 5 episodes of various Batman stories. It was like an anthology, but it was also kind of like a continuation. And this is sort of similar to that. And so it's a cool concept. And after watching it, it's an easy watch. Most of them are like around 17 minutes. Majority of them are really good. I don't think any of them are like god awful. Some of them are just maybe not as interesting, but for the most part, they're all really solid. One of the things that surprised me was a lot of these stories focused on Jedis, which I wasn't quite expecting all of that. Not saying that's a problem, but I was thinking, with the whole Mandalorian being very popular, I was expecting maybe more like bounty hunter stuff or more seedy underworld stuff, maybe more slice of life stuff. But I like that the majority of these episodes had some sort of action with them, so that was a good direction. Another thing, if you watch this on Disney Plus, they have the extras section where they have like different little 8-minute videos talking about the development of each episode, which I thought was great. Almost missed that, so that really definitely helped me with kind of getting into the mindset behind some of these episodes. But if you're a Star Wars fan, definitely check it out. They're all, like I said, all really fun. One in particular, I think potentially should have been what the Disney Star Wars movies could have been, but I'll get into that in the rankings. But as overall grade, I would give it like at least, because the majority of them were pretty good. If not A-, like a B+. It's not really, like I said, nothing too terrible in it. It's all quality stuff. Like I said, these are top level anime studios, and I think they did a great job with the animation. Voice acting was really good. The sound was great. Art direction, phenomenal. So that's it for my quick review of the series. And now I'm going to get into my rankings of the episodes, and there will be spoilers in this, so stay tuned for that. So let's start with episode 9. Oh, not episode 9. My number 9 ranked episode, which would be episode 4, The Village Bridge, which was animated by Kinema Citrus. And this episode was the most boring, I would say, until like the end of the episode. It's a bit of a love story. You focus on these 2 random people, and it's like this lady who's being followed by this guy with this bucket head, and it turns out that this lady is a Jedi, and he's convincing this Jedi to help save his village because they're being like taken over, or they're being like abused by Overlord. Similar to like most of these stories were like basic Western things, and I thought it was a little odd that the Jedi needed to be convinced to help out this village. It seemed like it was during the Clone Wars, maybe not. The guy did have droids, I don't know, but it wasn't that great. So that's at the bottom. Next up, my number 8 ranked episode is Episode 2, Tatooine Rhapsody. This was animated by Studio Colorido. The animation style kind of reminded me, it wasn't exactly like it, but the vibe kind of reminded me of Daft Punk's Interstellar 5555. It kind of reminded me of that a little bit. And it was it's about this young Padawan who joins this rock band, and then the band has to save a member who's being hunted by Boba Fett, and he's needed by Jabba the Hutt, because I think this guy was like Jabba the Hutt's like nephew or something, and he like kind of double crossed him. So they go on an adventure to try to track him down, and then ultimately they turn it around through the power of music. It was fine. It was a fine episode. I didn't hate it, but others were a little bit better. So it's where it is. My number 7th ranked episode is episode 9, Akakari. Animated by Science Saru. I forgot how they pronounced it. And this episode has a very Japanese aesthetic. It mostly looked like feudal Japan. A lot of these episodes had that feudal Japan vibe, but it stood out pretty well in this one as well. It's about this Jedi who helps out his former lover to defend her kingdom from this Sith shogun. And throughout the episode, he's very much a dick, and he's very anti the way of the Jedi. It's kind of weird that he was a Jedi, but I guess that fits into the ending where he's just like, predetermination isn't a thing, and he's kind of like faith isn't a thing, which is kind of like the principles of being a Jedi. But anyway, he's haunted by these visions, and in the end, when he's confronting the Shogun, he accidentally he's tricked, and he accidentally kills his ex-lover, and he ends up joining the dark side in order to resurrect her from the dead. Like I said, really cool ending. The beginning of it was kind of meh, but I liked the ending. There was a little bit of action, and I liked the design of the Sith Shogun, so that's why it's at that ranking. My number 6 ranked episode is episode 6, TOB1. This was also animated by Science Saru. And this episode is like very cutesy art style, sort of fairy tale art style, definitely more of the lighter kiddie side, but it was really good, beautiful animation. And this episode was basically, what if Astro Boy or Mega Man became a Jedi? That's essentially, you can tell that was the inspiration, especially in the design of the character. It kind of looks like Astro Boy, and it's about this android who is like looks like a little boy, and his creator turns out to be a Jedi, and this kid is obsessed with being a Jedi, and he wants to find the Kyber crystal so he can make a lightsaber. And then the guy's like, well, you gotta find one, so he's searching all over the place. But the professor tells him, the Jedi Master tells him, hey, don't go in the basement. He eventually goes in the basement, activates this old ship, sends out a signal to the Sith that's looking for him. So now the Sith know he's on this planet, and this Jedi he's missing his arms, so he's got like a lot of cybernetics and all these robots around him. So basically, the Master ends up getting killed, and the boy, the android discovers his inner true self. And apparently, I didn't realize this until I watched the extras, but he is supposed to be a cyborg of this Jedi Master's Padawan, as opposed to an android. So at first, I was like, can an android be Jedi? But apparently he's like a cyborg, so he still has that human connection, I guess. And Kyber crystal was in his chest, and the guy had gave him like the pieces to a lightsaber. So he makes a lightsaber, have this cool fight, which is one of the things that was like the best parts for me, at least, was at the end of the episode when he fights this sort of Darth Vader looking guy. And it was a fine episode. I can see if this was higher on someone else's list, but it was all right. My 5th ranked episode is episode 8, Lop and Ocho. And this one was animated by Geno Studio. Very beautiful animation style. I love the settings and the lighting. And like I said, most of these episodes have really great sets and lighting. And this one stood out really well with the rose blossoms a lot towards the end at the big fight. But this focuses on this bunny slave girl who gets adopted by this powerful family on this planet that's been occupied by the Galactic Empire. And some years later, the family becomes divided once Ocho, the the guy's biological daughter decides to join with the Empire, while her father plans to rebel against them. And Lop is kind of stuck in the middle, but she leans towards the father's side, and she ends up gaining this heirloom, which is a lightsaber that's been on the planet for generations. She gets it, and she must defend the planet, and it leads to a fight between her and the sisters. Really good, but at first, as soon as I saw the bunny, I was just like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. This is a little, not to kink shame or anything, it was a little too furry for me. And I'm like, oh boy. But as it went on, it was a good episode, and I liked the dynamic between the two sisters. And I wouldn't mind seeing a continuation of this one. Next on my rankings list is my 4th ranked episode is episode 3, The Twins. This was animated by Trigger Studios. Now this has a very wacky anime style, and I know a lot of people was a big fan of this episode, and I am too. I enjoyed it. And it focuses on these 2 Sith twins that were like genetically created, and they battle over the use of this big ass like kyber crystal that they found that they wanted to use to like, I think, blow up a planet with their like, they got this Death Star that's like 2 Death Stars combined, and they want not Death Star, Star Destroyers that's combined, and it acts like a Death Star with the little cannon in the middle that can destroy planets. But the brother decides that he doesn't want to do this, and he's kind of leaning more towards the good side. Him and the sister get into this fight, and they break the crystal. Then the crystal like amplifies their abilities, and it gets all wacky. She's got like 6, like she's got her 2 arms, and like these 4 like robot arms. She's like whipping her red lightsaber. He's got his lightsaber, and he's got like this badass sort of like rainbow lightsaber. Like, have you ever seen those like little lightsaber toys with like rainbow colors as opposed to one color? It's like something like that, but more badass. He's like fighting with it. Somehow it's like gets really big and like cuts a Star Destroyer in half. And the only thing that kind of bugged me was the fact that they were like doing all this fighting with no helmets in space, but it's all cartoonish. It doesn't matter. But it was, it was a fun, wacky episode. But it's number 4 for me. So my 3rd ranked episode is episode 7, The Elder, which was also animated by Trigger Studio. It focused on this Jedi and this Padawan who are traveling through the outer realm, or the outer rim, whatever the hell, out in the outskirts of space, and they sense this presence that they've never felt before. They check out this planet, and they end up bumping into this old Sith master who's been hiding out for decades. Because at this point, the Sith has been gone for like, I guess, generations, but they felt this presence and they get tricked in. The Padawan is very eager to like get into some action because, he's a young guy who wants to do something. And he runs into this old dude that almost fucking kills him. And then his master comes in and saves him. And his master, who's also a little older, not too old, but he's kind of feeling like he's getting towards the end of his, I guess, career. And he has this fight with this old guy, and he survives. It's really cool. I like the animation style. The story was nice. I like the characters. Very simple. I love the design of the fight and all that. So it was really, really cool episode. Now, my 2nd ranked episode is episode 1, The Duel, which was animated by Kamikaze Doga. Now this is the one that a lot of people I've seen on Twitter has been talking about, and it's a really dope episode. It really is. And the style is all black and white. It reminded me of Afro Samurai and so like Berserk, like the manga, where it's like that. It's black and white. It's got that dark outlines and the grittiness look to it. And this is another one that has that very feudal Japan aesthetic. And watching the extras, they are CG models that are meant to look like 2D, it's kind of got that sort of video gamey sort of feel to it with the cell shading and all that, but it looks dope. It's very detailed. I love the detailed look on all the different characters and all that. And it focuses on this Ronin who saves a small village from these Imperial bandits who are led by this Sith chick, and they get into this awesome fight. He saves the village, and she's got like a lightsaber. An umbrella lightsaber. Like she's got like this attachment to the tip of the lightsaber that acts like an umbrella, and she like spins it around. It's pretty cool. And they get into this fight over the village, and there's like these other guys that are there to help out, but they get wiped out. He comes in, and we discover once he pulls out his lightsaber that he's got a red lightsaber himself. And you're like, what the fuck? So they get the fight. They get the fighting, and eventually he takes her out, and he takes her. He like collects the kyber crystals from the lightsabers, and he's got like a whole bunch of them. So, and if you watch the extras, they do confirm that yes, this guy is a Sith, and now he's kind of, I guess, on redemption. I don't know. Maybe he's just hunting down Siths, or maybe he just likes fighting Siths. I don't know, but he's got a bunch of these red kyber crystals. Wouldn't mind seeing more of this because this was really awesome. And yeah, number 2. And finally, my number 1 ranked episode of Star Wars Vision Season 1 is Episode 5, The Ninth Jedi, which was animated by Production IG. This is a very prestigious animation studio in Japan. They did Ghost in the Shell, which is a top level anime film. I have not seen it, but I'm familiar with it. And my God, they did a fucking awesome job with this episode. This was the one episode that was like immediately after it went off, I was like, I need another episode because it was so awesome how they did this. This is also the longest episode. They gave this episode some time. This was like the length of like a regular like 22 minute episode of the show. And I got to give a shout out to the director Kenji Kamiyama. I might have said that wrong, but he was the director and writer for this. And to me, the style initially reminded me of like 80s, 70s sort of Voltron / Gatchaman type of style. Like it kind of was like that. And it focuses on, it's like set, I guess I'm assuming it's like, would be like years after Return of the Jedi. And there's these group of Jedis who are brought together by this mysterious guy known as Margrave Juro. All these Jedis are masterless. And like there's no Jedi Council, there are no lightsabers. Lightsabers are very rare. And he brings these Jedis together, and he's like, hey, I'm trying to rebuild the council, and I got some lightsabers for you, so meet me here on this planet. There's this girl named Kara, who is the daughter of a lightsaber smith, and she's tasked with delivering the lightsabers to these Jedis because her father gets kidnapped. And but when she gets there, it's revealed that all the Jedis there are actually Siths in disguise who are there to kill Margrave Juro, because Margrave, and I like that they, listen here, they subverted my expectations, but it was still really cool. Because Margrave Juro kind of looks like Vader, and then you got the Sith guys who look like regular Jedis, but then it's reversed. It was a nice little twist that I thought worked very well. And the whole robot, him hiding the robot to keep tabs on him. And you can kind of tell, like because the director said in the extras, like this was like what he would do with Star Wars if he got to make like a sequel after Return of the Jedi. And like as I mentioned earlier in my video, this could have been a cool direction to take the Star Wars franchise before we went down the Abrams path. And there's some cool shit in here, like the lightsaber blacksmith alters the kyber crystals so that the color of the saber depends on the user's connection to the Force. So like when the girl Kara is using it, her connection's not strong, so it's like a blurry, non-existent color, but she's got some skill. And as the episode goes on, it turns green for her, and then you got the whole thing with the guy with, I think his name was Ethan, his was blue, and then when they all ignited, it was all red. And then there was that one big dude who was like, he was actually more on the good side, and as the fight went on, it turned purple. Like, it was awesome. The action, awesome. There's like the moment where she's on the hovercraft getting chased by the Jedi hunters, and she's fighting them, and then she gets away, and of course the fight with them on the Margrave's like castle, or whatever the hell you want to call it, his space station. This is also the one episode where lightsabers were acting like lightsabers. Like when people got cut, there was some blood, and like there was like people getting cut in half. Like it was awesome. It was just great, and I need more of it. And at the end is him, it's Margrave, the girl, Ethan, and the other alien guy going off on another adventure. And I swear to God, I just watched that episode. I watched it 3 times. And the last 2 times I watched it, I had goosebumps both times on my arms. That's how awesome that episode was. The ending and the music and the way it was all direction. It was just great. And I'm like, if they don't know what to do with the franchise, they might need to call that guy up because he's got some good ideas. I'm just saying, the guy that directed this, they might want to call him up to help him with these live action movies because my God, that was really good. But those are my rankings for the Star Wars Visions. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, what you thought about the series. Give me your rankings or at least your favorite episode, least favorite episode in the comments. And thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos. Peace.